Mr. Speaker, I think last week I was overly rude, and I apologise.
Keir Starmer isn't just rude. He's dangerously arrogant. He doesn't shout, he doesn't argue, and he doesn't even pretend to listen. Instead, he shows contempt in the coldest way possible, by acting as if people simply don't exist. Ask him a serious question, and he ignores it. Challenge him with facts, and he stares straight through you, like you're made of glass. Raise concerns on behalf of the public, and he smirks, laughs it off, and moves on as if your words aren't worth his time. This is the story of a man who doesn't merely avoid uncomfortable truths. He openly insults those brave enough to speak them. And if you think this passes for leadership, stay with us until the end of this video. Because the disrespect doesn't stop here. It escalates, it circles back, and it becomes impossible to ignore. Let's begin.
Ms. Savile-Roberts.
This Prime Minister once spoke of compassion and dignity for migrants and for defending free movement. Now he talks of islands of strangers and taking back control. Somebody here has to call this out, Mr. Speaker. It seems the only principle he consistently defends is whichever he last heard in a focus group. So I ask him, is there any belief he holds which survives a week in Downing Street?
Yes, the belief that she talks rubbish. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, I want to lead a country where we pull together and walk into the future as neighbours and as communities, not as strangers. And the loss of control of migration by the last government put all of that at risk. And that's why we're fixing the system based on principles of control, selection, and...
This moment wasn't just weak. It was repulsive. Faced with a serious challenge to his political identity, Starmer didn't respond with clarity, logic, or even basic self-respect. Instead, he reached for a cheap insult, the kind of smug, dismissive remark you use when someone has just exposed you and you've got nothing left except arrogance. He wasn't leading, he was reacting. Everything that followed was recycled filler. Unity, community, walking together. Words that sound warm, but mean nothing when they come from someone who abandons his principles the moment they become inconvenient. The man who once praised open movement now sells fear of outsiders. The man who once spoke of dignity now frames migration as a threat. That's not growth. That's betrayal for comfort. And when someone dares to call it out, asks a serious, honest question, he doesn't argue back. He sneers. He fires off contempt instead of substance. He doesn't just dodge scrutiny, he mocks it. Because in Starmer's world, if you're not reading from the script, you're not worth engaging. But here's what he doesn't understand. That arrogance isn't strength. It's decay. It reveals a man so lost in political performance that he no longer sees people, only polling figures, optics, and applause signals. This wasn't a debate. It was exposure. A weak man trapped by his own contradictions, snapping under pressure, then trying to cover it with empty, political poetry. And the public saw it. They felt it. Every time he dodges, sneers, or acts above the conversation, he confirms what more people already believe. He doesn't care. He doesn't respect. And he isn't fit to lead. And this wasn't the first time he behaved this way. Take a look.
Over the weekend, I suggested to the Prime Minister that he cut the aid budget, and I'm pleased that he accepted my advice.
I'm going to have to let the Leader of the Opposition down gently. She didn't feature in my thinking at all. I was so busy over the weekend I didn't even see her proposal. I think she's appointed herself, saviour of the Western civilization. It's a desperate search for relevance.
By admitting she wasn't even on his radar, Starmer made one thing clear. Individual voices, especially from rival MPs, simply don't matter to him. That isn't leadership. It's arrogance disguised as political detachment. This wasn't a moment for clever deflection or spin. It was an opportunity to show principle. Instead, he treated a legitimate question like background noise. That choice says everything. It shows he's far more concerned with optics than with real debate or accountability. The line, "I didn't think about it," drips with contempt. It's snide, automatic, and dismissive. The kind of response you give when you've already decided the person asking isn't worth your time, because in his mind, she isn't. Real leaders don't ignore opposing views. They listen, absorb, challenge, and respond. Starmer did none of that. He shut it down completely. In doing so, he exposed himself as insulated, aloof, and fundamentally uninterested in governing with seriousness or respect. And when he can't find comeback, when he's cornered by a question he doesn't like, his instinct is simple. He ignores it. Before we continue further, tell us, are you enjoying the video? If yes, please like and share the video and subscribe to our channel for more exclusive videos on the groundbreaking changes happening in Offscript. Let's continue. Now,
given the Prime Minister's desire to strengthen strategic alignment with our European neighbours, will he, in the interests of public safety, follow the lead of France, Denmark, Belgium and others and ban the burqa?
Yeah. Prime Minister.
Can I welcome her to her place? But I'm not going to follow her down that line. But now she is here and safely in her place, perhaps she could tell her new party leader that his latest plan to bet £80 billion of unfunded tax cuts, with no idea how he's going to pay for it, is Liz Truss all over again. Although, considering I think she was a Conservative member when Liz Truss was leader, she probably won't.
From Keir Starmer didn't really cut the mustard. I'm not going to follow her down that line. Other MPs, senior MPs, don't think that's the right answer. James Cleverly, the man who would be Prime Minister, would be a Tory leader, I should say, but for the behaviour of some MPs during the leadership election last summer, he said in terms that refusing to answer MPs' questions isn't an option as a government minister. Not saying he supports the ban, but have the debate. And that's what Sarah Perkins started.
Once again, he dodged it, deflected, and changed the subject as if it were beneath him. But here's the truth. That kind of silence isn't neutral. It isn't calm. It isn't a strategy. It's condescension. It's him clearly saying, you're not worth engaging with. And let's be very clear, this wasn't a shouting match. Pachin didn't heckle or provoke. She asked a question in Parliament, the one place meant for hard truths and serious debate. Starmer didn't just ignore the question. He dismissed the person asking it. That's not leadership. That's arrogance in a suit. This has become his trademark. Don't like the question? Pretend it doesn't exist. Don't like the issue? Change the topic. Don't like the person raising it? Act like they don't matter. But every time he dodges a question, he's not just avoiding controversy. He's insulting the people behind it. Voters, communities, victims, and concerned citizens. He's telling them all, you're not part of my conversation. And sooner or later, those people start speaking louder in Parliament, louder in protests, and louder in elections. Because when you refuse to answer, don't be surprised when you lose more than debates. You lose trust. You lose respect. And once respect is gone, everything else follows.
True democracy is citizen-led. Politics needs an update. We demand a people's house. We demand a people's house. We are in crisis. We are in crisis. Our whole future is in jeopardy.
No.
This wasn't a heckle, just karma hitting Starmer live.
I came here to speak to this man, not your security. You have failed me.
Thank you. Okay.
I've been a Labour voter my entire life. You have failed to be the opposition. You have failed to ask whether lockdown was functioning.
Just behind. Can we just?
Do you understand?
Shall we go on in?
Thousands of people have died because you have failed to do your job and ask the real questions.
I disagree.
Well, I am telling you now, and I hope this goes out, You have failed this country. You have.
They've been on the front line keeping people alive. So I really don't need lectures from you about this pandemic.
You've got one.
Why? Can we come in? Is that okay?
What are you doing?
He's the landlord. That man is not allowed in my pub. He's the landlord. I'm not going to physically hurt him. That man. That's assault. I am not bothering you. I am not bothering him. That man is not allowed in my pub. Get out of my pub. Go on.
Calm yourself down.
Get out of my pub.
Calm down. Sorry, can you keep out of the way, please?
Thank you.
When you spend years brushing off your own party members, ignoring climate activists, dodging tough questions, silencing MPs, and laughing off real concerns, eventually people stop asking politely. They interrupt your stage. They stand behind you. They shout what your silence refuses to admit. And you freeze. The man who couldn't even look a protester in the eye has spent years looking down on working-class voters, unions, students, even his own shadow cabinet. Now the country is looking back, not with applause, but with frustration. That protester was louder than his entire speech. Because when you repeatedly disrespect the people who put you where you are, you don't just lose support. You lose respect. You lose authority. You lose control of a room, just like Starmer did. And no amount of rehearsed speeches can protect you from that reality. Does he need to learn how to talk to people first? Is this what leadership is supposed to look like? Tell us in the comments. Have you ever seen a leader respond like this? If you want more videos like this, like, share, and subscribe for updates on off SCRIP TAND, how events are reshaping it.